Okay, roll. Hello and welcome to Walk the Talk Show with Waylon Lewis, coming to you live from a yellow leaf hammock in my living room at Hotel Elephant, which is our little home in Boulder, Colorado, which I probably already said. And I'm here with two hammockpreneurs who are awesome, Joe and Rachel, and they're here for Unreasonable Institute, which Natasha is a part of that. And we're going to just begin this conversation with a bow of mutual respect and appreciation, reminder of our mission. So we're in a hammock, so it's a little awkward, but basically everyone out there, you can join us in a bow. It's a reminder of your mission in your life to be of benefit. It's not super serious. It's just the Eastern version of a Western handshake. So basically just take a good posture, root your tush in the idea of earth, which is the realm of details. It's very good practice for entrepreneurs and business people. Earth is the realm of details, getting stuff done, humility, hopefully. The heavens above, your head, the idea of the realm of inspiration, ideas, and then your heart in between, which is the realm of friendship, integrity, and openness. So connect all three and give it away. So let's begin with you, Natasha.
Yeah.
Speaking loudly because we don't have proper laugh mics today, which is our bad. So tell me a little bit about Unreasonable Institute.
Sure. We bring in we're an accelerator program, and we bring in entrepreneurs from all over the world, and they come to Boulder for 5 weeks and live in a mansion. We bring in workshops and mentors and funders and all these amazing people to help them accelerate their businesses and reach new levels.
So it's like, I mean, I'm sure this joke, which isn't that funny, has been made before, which is, it's like real world. All these people come from all over the planet, but they're actually here to do some good and help their businesses accelerate, as you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you bring them together with like super rich people, super smart mentor people, and workshops.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of fun. What's your like typical, if there is such a thing, day at Unreasonable?
Sure. I mean, we get up and have breakfast together in the morning, and then we usually have a workshop right after that with one of our awesome mentors. And then lunch together, and the afternoon's usually filled with mentor connections. And then we usually try to sneak in a good volleyball game or two. So.
Right. Yeah, I'd play some volleyball on that court, dominate.
You're invited over, Waylon.
Ping pong, Ping pong I'm not good at. So Rachel, Joe, co-founders of Yellow Leaf Hammocks. So tell us a little bit, like, why is it called Yellow Leaf?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
That not everyone always thinks to ask, but there's a really rich story behind that.
Right.
So we work with Hill Tribe groups in rural Thailand, and the original Hill Tribe group that actually created this particular hammock weave is called the Malawi. They're a hunter and gatherer group. They're actually Asia's last hunter and gatherer tribe. And back in the 70s and 80s, when they were living off of the land, like a traditional hunter-gatherer group, they made their homes out of banana leaves. And when the leaves turned yellow, they would go on to the next plot of land. And because they lived in the jungles, local Thai people actually didn't really see the tribe ever. They just saw their vacant yellow huts.
Right.
And so they became known as people of the yellow leaves. And so it was just natural to call the company after that.
And then what changed? I mean, the forest started getting clear cut, slash and burn, right?
It actually, a lot of what happened was teak deforestation throughout the 70s and 80s. So for a couple thousand years, the Malawi lived relatively undisturbed, and then teak deforestation and guerrilla warfare both kind of cleared out the forests and changed their way of life.
So basically, like yuppies in the U.S. reading their Smith and Hawken catalog, ironically, since Paul Hawken's an amazing environmentalist. We're like, teak, we love teak. Teak is great for everything. It's great for outdoor furniture. Meanwhile, like the Yellow Leaf Tribe.
And it wasn't being sustainably harvested.
Yeah. The word rape comes to mind, not to make things too serious. The forests were just getting raped and pillaged. So how are you guys, I mean, this is exactly what Unreasonable is about, is, right, the entrepreneurs have to have some sort of for-profit business.
We do for-profits and non-profits.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
okay.
We look for entrepreneurs that have a revenue-generating aspect to their business, but not necessarily the legal entity.
Okay, cool.
So.
That will benefit more than 1 million people or touch more than 1 million people in some way, right?
Right.
So how is your, money-making, cool, fun business with all kinds of designs that we'll go through benefiting anybody?
So the idea behind the hammocks, our big idea is that there's a lot of things that a poor person needs. They need clean water, they need education for their children, they need food. But the way that you can strike right at the heart of that poverty, that systemic poverty that keeps cycling around, is by creating a job, and specifically by creating a good job, a prosperity wage job is what we call it, for a mother. Because that's going to ensure that if a mom has work, she's taking care of her family's health, their nutrition. She's making sure the kids go to school instead of working in the field. So that's what we do. We create a job that's good enough that instead of a family working out in a slash and burn field, maybe working as a debt slave in indentured labor, instead the mom can weave a hammock, make as much as her whole family would have made in a month or more. The kids go to school. The dad can explore sustainable farming. Yeah. So
I think you just covered the entire interview.
We're done.
We're done.
So there was a lot to unpack there that you eloquently and succinctly just talked about. So I would say the solution would be education, but you're saying a job, but that job then leads to the child being
and we can like speak to a case study, for example. The original tribe we started working with, we now work with 200 weavers, and our goal is to create 1,000 artisan jobs within our first 5 years, which is
But I thought there's only 300 of the tribe. You know, work with different tribes.
In Thailand, so I guess to step back and give a picture of, in Thailand alone, there's over 1.5 million Hill Tribe members. And they really exist at the bottom of the pyramid. Like 1 in 3 victims of human trafficking in northern Thailand comes from a Hill Tribe family, for example.
Oh, wow.
And so we specifically target communities like the Malawi community, the original Malawi community that we started working with.
Wow. That's super sad.
But the great thing is that this is
the human trafficking piece.
It is, and the problem has been that when someone is so poor or so marginalized in society, it's really easy for them to become exploited. And one thing that we think is great about hammock weaving is you can do it there in the village. You don't leave your family and your community behind, so you're safe and you have an opportunity.
That should be your slogan. You can do it in the village.
We'll explore that. Do good, relax in the village.
I was just thinking it's got a sort of sexual connotation.
I see where you're going with
that. Yeah. You can do it in the village. I love that. It'd make me want to buy a hammock. So how did you two, what's the origin story here? How did you two wind up starting this super fun company that's doing some good?
Tell them your love story.
Are you two a couple?
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
We started a couple. We were dating.
I apologize about earlier. No,
It's okay. I don't mind. Lots of people get on Joe.
Nice.
You've got a great beard.
I know. Got a thing for beards.
So I guess we've got time for the full story, so I'll jump in. It originally started with a vacation. I've always loved hammocks, but I was working in commercial real estate development before in finance, and there was no career in hammocks at the time. So I discovered one of these hammocks on an amazing little island in Thailand, and I was immediately blown away. I mean, it was literally the softest hammock I'd ever felt. The colors were super vibrant. I learned that it was weatherproof. Like, it had all these amazing attributes. And I asked about where it was made and learned that it was woven by the Malawi Tribe. And I was like, what's the deal with the Malawi Tribe? Like a lot of people ask us now. And I was told the story of how they had previously been enslaved to clear forest land for a more powerful tribe. They had no citizenship and no civil rights, and with the help of a local aid worker, they started a weaving project. They created this amazing hammock weave that I had discovered, and that they had created enough work where they actually successfully lobbied for their citizenship, were granted civil rights for the first time, started employing the same community that had been exploiting them, had just this radical change in their community. And so that blew my mind, and a week later, as I was still traveling through Thailand, I decided to ditch my friends and convinced a cab driver to drive me to the village 600 miles away.
And at this time, you're a commercial real estate guy.
Yeah.
This feels like a sort of like Tom Shoe version of Jerry Maguire.
A little bit. But totally. And so it was the craziest day of this cab driver's life. But we're as we get into we're going through the jungle and finally make it to the village, and I'm literally seeing forest fires on the horizon because of slash and burn agriculture. And then I finally had a chance to actually meet the people making the hammocks. And I learned
What's slash and burn agriculture, real quick?
So slash and burn agriculture is subsistence farming. It's basically this, hundreds of years ago, people did this in the U.S. and all over the world. But in developing economies, people clear land, farm it, burn it for the next following season. And what happened in Thailand, because there was so much deforestation happening, people would use chemicals and pesticides to clear it faster. Everything had to happen faster because there was less and less land. And as you do this with each season, the land becomes so degraded that you can't really farm it anymore, and so there's less and less and less.
So you go from like rich jungle or forest
exactly,
to
really
dead land.
Really quickly.
Cool.
So as I saw that, and I realized that traditional aid and charity does not strike at the root of poverty, and that the Malawi Tribe had created really the first successful economic development project in this entire region. They had people coming in from all over actually looking for work and asking to be a part of it, but they were being turned down because there weren't consistent sales channels.
So it was very seasonal. They were selling it at tourist shops there in Thailand, but it's hard if you're living in the jungle and you don't have, internet, let alone access to everything, all the resources that are, at our disposal here. So they were really, really hoping that someone would come and help them extend this project and it's actually to sell the hammocks in America. And Joe showed up in their village and just connected so deeply with the tribe and
the legends forewarned of a bearded bearded real estate. So what's your relationship with them? I mean,
So, and after that, I came back totally inspired, realized that most hammocks are made in a factory in China. They're low quality, and that there was no real hammock brand that actually brought that vacation into your backyard. That helped people back here live that conscious lifestyle, and really, think about spending 10 minutes in a hammock and what impact it has on you. And I really envisioned having this, building this culture in the U.S. and worldwide where people did that. And came home with a backpack stuffed full of hammocks, convinced my amazing girlfriend at the time, Rachel, that I wanted to start a hammock.
I was like, you're nuts.
He also had his first business plan written on his barf bag from the plane. He was ready to go.
Empty barf bag, just to be clear.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Clean barf bag.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
And then we dove in. We started selling hammocks on the weekends while we still had our jobs. We tested out a number of different things from price point, designs. Really wanted to make sure that I wasn't crazy and that other people were as passionate about the hammocks as I was.
So then we won a contest through British Airways. We got to go back and live in the village for a few weeks, really get to know people on a deeper level.
Underneath the yellow leaves or the pre-yellow leaves?
They have a little more permanent homes now.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Yeah. They still have the nice thing about the flexible work. They can still go out and hunt and fish and then come back and weave another hammock when they're ready. So it's very culturally autonomous. Cool.
Well, that sounds romantic. So you went and lived with the tribe for a little while?
Yep. Yeah. And then.
And do they speak? How did you communicate?
So our third partner lives in the community. He has over 30 years of.
There's a third partner.
Yeah.
He's like the fifth Beatle.
He's the original aid worker that started working
on the hammock
and building the community there. And
so he speaks Thai, Malawi, English. So it's a great conduit. There's a lot of pointing and smiling as well, just like you do in any place you don't know the language. You can still kind of make friends.
Yeah, and what's your, it's interesting always, like I made a silly Tom's reference, like there is this sort of like, they're kind of helping, but it's sort of exploiting, and it's sort of clumsy, and it's sort of inspiring. It's like kind of both. How's your relationship with the tribe? I think it's very good. I think we
like family, really.
We want it to be good for them. There's the purpose, we need to sell hammocks to make more jobs, but the purpose of existing is to create good jobs. So that's foremost, and that's the thing we're always trying to do. So it's something we think about as we move into new communities. There's different priorities in different places. The Malawi would probably rather work less and have less money, but just be able to get by and have more free time. The newer communities that we're working in, they might want a little more work, a little more, climbing up the ladder, moving on up. So it just depends. Right. And then the goal, in the long run, is actually that the children of our weavers would have opportunities beyond being weavers. They could maybe be a teacher or a doctor. They're having access to the school. So that's what you're talking about, education. Right. We're providing the foundation for this next generation to have a really bright future.
Yeah. So maybe now's a good time to look at some of your offerings, your products.
Sure.
Does that sound good?
Yeah. We can run through that. We've got a whole different line of hammocks. We have a hammock chair that's super comfy. It's actually, I guess the best way to look at our line is we've got a hammock that's kind of like the lazy boy version of a hammock. You get in like a chair, stretch back. That's our hanging chair. We've got this hammock, which is perfect for 2 people.
Is this outdoor or indoor?
This is outdoor. So people use them indoors as well, but the great thing about this one is that it's weatherproof and it does not mold or mildew. So they last like so much longer than your average hammock.
These colors always stay this
and I'll
bright.
show. This is one of my
colors stay this bright.
Right.
This is one of my favorite designs here. This is actually the hanging chair hammock.
So it's kind of like a sky chair for people who know that, but it's hammocky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the yarn is super. It's just like this actually.
Is this acrylic or cotton?
It's a soft spun acrylic, but it's different from what you would get in other parts of the world. We source from a local Thai mill, so it's unique to us, and it's super soft.
Yeah.
These are hanging
It's
around
really
at the frat
soft.
house right now at the institute.
Are they really?
Everyone's just lounging
Like
and working
indoors?
away. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we love this fabric actually because I know acrylic can be tricky for people, but the great thing about
Why is it
this
tricky for people?
It's a man-made fiber.
It's a man-made,
It's kind of
yeah.
a similar problem that Patagonia faced when they were making their high-performance gear.
So you mean from an environmental point of view?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of my first questions was like, I hate plastic. I hate it. I hate it. It lasts forever because it lasts forever, which is also not a good thing.
Yeah. Well, the great thing is we think, because we actually tested this. We have 2 kinds of hammocks available to us, and the first, 200 hammocks we sold face-to-face at a market, just talking to people. And the number one thing we heard from people was, I used to have a hammock, I left it outside and it fell apart.
Right.
And so we thought the best thing for our customers and the best thing for the environment is really not to be creating a new hammock every year, shipping it across the world, getting it, in their backyard. They're spending money they could be spending on other things. So let's have a really durable hammock. You can leave it outside. It stays looking beautiful, and you're keeping it for years and years and years. So that's what we, considered. We also do have, for people who just really want something natural. Yeah, how about I take this off?
Well, hold on. I want to touch on a few awesome points that I think are really cool.
Honey,
that blows my mind.
Honey, I'd like to say something.
We aren't quite to mind reading yet. We spend a lot of time together, but we're not close there.
Pretty good, yeah.
Well, what's really just amazing is that this hammock literally takes 6 to 7 days to make with 3.5 miles of yarn and 150,000 interwoven loops. So that's like a crazy craftsmanship.
Let that sink in.
Yeah. 3.5 miles of yarn.
It was kind of a beautiful mind moment.
Yeah.
I don't have a beautiful mind, so it's not really sinking in.
But anyway, getting back to what you were saying
Super
about
complex.
our other hammock, we're launching a new hammock pretty soon, and it's a cotton rope hammock line. It's like a traditional hammock, and all of the hammocks are going to be now signed by the person who made them as well.
Right, I love that aspect. So
Let's
yeah,
show
let's
that,
see that
yeah.
little tag. And you can hand it to Rachel so she can
Oh my goodness.
put it
Zoom
right
in.
on the...
So beautiful.
Oh, here. You want there's the tag.
So this is quite meaningful, really, even though it's kind of fun. It's signed by the person who made it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're really connecting it with the whole mission, as you were saying. It's not just to produce stuff and sell stuff and have a good margin and make money and buy a second home and,
Believe me, we're not doing that anytime soon.
We are.
Well, after Unreasonable Institute.
Yeah, Natasha.
Yeah, we really want to connect consumers with where their products are coming from.
Yeah, so I ran into you guys just yesterday for the first time at the Hub Bazaar, and I was saying to maybe Natasha, but I was saying it to someone like, I never shop. I hate shopping. Yeah. And then I go to the Hub Bazaar, and it's like all these co-op goods, and it's actually benefiting people, and it's fun, and it's handmade, and it's generally eco-responsible. And I suddenly want to shop. I want to buy gifts for people. It's like you actually, it's powerful. It actually what the kind of thing you're doing in Unreasonable Institute hosts how many entrepreneurs at a time?
We have 17 entrepreneurs here this year.
17?
Yeah. Just at the Boulder Institute.
Right. And you're doing 2 other institutes, right?
Right. We have one in Aguascalientes, Mexico, and one in Kampala, Uganda. So Unreasonable East Africa and Mexico are launching this summer.
Right.
So exciting.
No rest.
World domination.
No rest for the wicked.
World-changing domination.
We need a Risk board game like Unreasonable Institute Edition. They're like, we're moving into East Africa.
Well, that was just to get the local context so people can work in their own language with mentors that that understand their geographical context and culture. So
You mean Boulder is not?
I mean,
doesn't represent the whole
well,
world.
there is so much diversity. But
So
sorry to derail you.
Well, I had a lot of jokes.
You were shopping.
No, I wanted to
wanted
make
to
jokes
shop.
about Boulder and diversity.
Oh.
But I was
You're
like,
afraid.
no, not at all.
Controversial episode.
I was going to say we have both white people and freckled people, jokes like that. But that was off topic, so I was trying not to make those jokes. But so it has this powerful ability, the kind of thing you're doing, and the Unreasonable is hosting all these entrepreneurs to transform capitalism, which generally I think we all can agree is sort of neutral, but often an engine for destruction of resources and of people and of traditional ways of life, into this like engine for good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is so exciting.
I think a lot of people ask us, why a social enterprise? Like, if you're starting something, why did you decide on something like this? And the first time we got asked that, we kind of looked at each other for a while, and it was very awkward because we were like, why wouldn't we? Like, this is what we're going to spend our life working on. Why would we not want it to be something positive and something that's benefiting?
Absolutely.
To be fair, you're from San Francisco, so it's like anything in San Francisco has to have some cool, inspiring point to it.
But the reality is that you can structure a business that's both profitable and has an impact. I mean, we're also a certified B Corp, and that whole movement is gaining traction.
What B Corp is. Yeah.
B Corps are it's a certification and also a new legal structure that's being recognized in the U.S., where traditionally, if you're a legal entity, a corporation, you have to put profits ahead of everything else.
Right.
And so B Corp restructures that. You actually write in your bylaws that your environmental and social mission is on equal footing with your profitability mission.
Yeah, there's this sort of unhealthy split. It's kind of like psychotic or something. I don't know the mental condition that would apply, but where you're either like doing good in the world, nonprofit, or you're for profit and you actually are legally supposed to make a profit above all else. Obviously, there's lots of great for-profits and lots of kind of douchey, weak nonprofits, but that's the basic split. And B Corp is saying actually you can do well by doing good.
And treat your employees well. Like there's a whole.
It's a very holistic.
It's really beautiful.
I love
certification.
And if I can just say, I mean, we want to have a really successful company because we have tons of people right now reaching out to us. I'm a student. I want to start something like what you do. I'm interested in this. We would love to be an incredibly successful company so that more people say, I'm not going to Wall Street. I'm going to be like Yellow Leaf Hammocks, or I want to go to the Unreasonable Institute, not to business school, or
no,
not to
there's nothing inspiring
else,
about failure unless it's your own failure, and you can be inspired to kind of get up and learn from that.
And we want to share everything that we're learning. Like, we want more people to copy our idea and do what we're doing and move into this sphere. So
is there anything
like we do copy left, for all of our stuff? Like, we want open resources for everybody. I mean, even Rachel the other day was like, oh my gosh, we have so many brilliant minds in one room. Let's have
stinky foot just went away.
Like, let's collaborate and share like everything we've learned with like different resources and stuff. It's pretty awesome.
So you know them a lot better than I. Is there anything I'm not touching on in terms of like interesting stories or challenges that you're dealing with right now?
I mean, right now they're working with one of our favorite mentors, Karen Gibbs from By Hand Consulting. She's absolutely amazing. She was at the Artisan Bazaar yesterday, and she's just been helping them lead the way.
She's worked with artisan groups from all over the world for like 30 years and has expertise in retail, wholesale, marketing, branding, all of that. And so we're really like refining we're really trying to accelerate after we leave the institute to really open up new sales channels. And so she's helping us strategize and make sure that
she works with Bead for Life or something. Because Bead for Life was founded here and would be super applicable to what you do. Okay. They were at the bazaar.
Yeah, I think she was just talking with us about that the other day. I have it in my notes from our meeting. And I think Karen cares about the same thing that we do, which is like, we have to make a product that appeals to people who don't just live in Boulder and San Francisco. Like, I'm from Georgia.
Like Portland as well.
Yeah, no, we want people from all over the country to find this, like, this suits my style. This is what I want to be about, too. And it's not just buy this because it's doing good. Like, how awesome is this hammock, guys? Yeah.
I mean, I'm not in it for the video. I'm
We fought over it before.
We glued him to the hammock. But that's like the cool thing, is that we have lots of people who buy the hammock who don't even realize that it's a social cause. They just want this awesome hammock.
And that's what makes it truly sustainable.
And that's what Karen's about. That's what we're about.
And an impact perspective.
But I mean, also, it's also truly, I'm a huge fan of Newman's Own, which doesn't get enough credit in the whole Tommy shoe world. Like, Newman's Own gives away so much money.
I think it's like 100%.
It's 100% of their profits. It's out of control. And you know, if I'm presented with two kinds of spaghetti sauce or whatever, I'm going to go with Newman's Own. I mean, it makes business sense as well as my point. Is the do-goodery thing builds loyalty, which is huge. It's free advertising.
Yeah, and if I can just say for Tom's, I think they're really evolving. You know, they are making moves now to build their factories within their giving communities. You know, they've done a lot to make this easy to talk about for people like us, and now they really are continuing to hear the criticism and to evolve their business model.
I think
so I do want to.
It's representative of like a lot of perspective in the U.S. of charity is the way to go. Like that's how you help people. And I think when Tom's was founded, they had great intentions, and they've become really more aware of what their impact is and how they can actually have a stronger impact. And so I think it's evolving.
Yeah, I've written a lot of criticisms of Tom's over the years.
I'm sure they've heard it. They've heard it.
No, I know they have. Yeah. No, I mean,
I wear my Toms today.
No, I mean, I wear Toms. They're tough to criticize because I do think they are innovative and well-intentioned, and you don't want to criticize that. I think they're better than 90% of the shoe companies out there.
We're not criticizing any other shoe company for not doing more. I really think they deserve props.
It's really recognizing that giving something away to somebody isn't going to solve it permanently, and we should hold ourselves to a higher level. And
well, that's what's interesting is the one-for-one in your equation is a job, and a job is, as long as you do well, sustainable, right? And it's also the education and all the ripple effects. Have we covered anything? Is there other ripple effects we skipped over?
Yeah.
Since we.
Well, I was gonna say one story you guys shared the other day was about like the slave labor of people in like tourist industries, and like that's a huge thing that you like isn't.
One of
the what?
Well, they can explain it better than I can.
There's a lot of sustainable tourism, ethnic tourism, you know, hill tribe tourism in Thailand, but a lot of people don't recognize this when they travel to places like this and they go see a village and a community. That oftentimes it might be staged, or the people in the community might not even be seeing proceeds from your visit.
Wow.
And what really what struck me in my initial visit and travel was that a story I heard about the Malawi Tribe in particular.
Sorry, I don't want to leave that. I'm like getting so comfortable here.
Am I boring you? You're falling asleep.
Your melodic voice is just lulling him.
It works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
exploitative human tourism.
Right.
So
in the case of the Malawi Tribe, they had a family, for example, would be working on their field, and suddenly a truck would pull up, literally take them out of the field, drive off and into a cleared area in the jungle, and they would be given a pig. They would be told to take off their clothing, put on a loincloth, and then Western tourists would come in and they would have to slaughter that pig. And then tourists would leave and they would be left there, and they just got the pig in return and totally.
And this is still going on. I read, you know, in the news. I had a very authentic experience. I went to a hill tribe village, and it's a pretty.
Selfie.
Exactly.
It's like selfie at a funeral.
And people are being taken advantage of,
and people just don't know, and it's not, you know, that's not bad. They want to feel that human connection. We just want people to be more aware and to maybe find a different way of being part of those communities.
A more meaningful and fun way.
And and educating yourselves. We didn't know everything about this before we got involved, but we try to learn about everything that's going on in the world from an impact perspective. You know, try to keep up.
So is there anything I'm failing to touch on? I have one last question, but you have the notes and stuff. No, we're good. I covered everything expertly. So my final question is sort of a personal one, which I hope you don't mind. I interview a lot of entrepreneurs, and it's rare. I've had a couple couples. But I feel like just from a personal point of view, like a lot of us want to start businesses with our best friends, or we don't because it's harder, let alone like a relationship. I mean, does that put... Obviously, there must be advantages. I'd love to hear about that, like communication. You work together.
We should do it like the dating game. Like we hold up the best and the worst thing.
Okay, let's do that. But is there also? I mean, there's a lot of pressure in a way on the relationship for it to, like, if you broke up, that would probably be bad for business. I would think.
You're stuck with me. I think one of the...
That was a good response. There you go.
It's for the good.
Oh my gosh.
One for one.
I'm really fun. All right.
That was awesome. No, that was funny.
Rachel is the most excited person at the Institute right now.
Okay, so I think one of the things, we of course people are interested in this and we get asked about it a lot. So one of the things that I think is sort of we put ourselves at a disadvantage was we just jumped in, right? We didn't know we were going to end up
to the business.
Yes, to the business. So we didn't know we would end up, still doing this in 5 years. We hoped so, but we didn't start in a very formal way. So we didn't really define this is what you do, that's what I do, or this, I have decision making capability here. And so that was something we really had to realize and figure out, because if you start with your friend, well, I don't fight with my friend, I would never be wrong, And so I think kind of being smart about it, just the way you would enter a partnership with anyone, would be a really important thing to do that I would give as a piece of advice, I think.
So what does that mean? Do you have like a business prenup, or what does that mean?
We don't.
No, we don't, but
one of our goals for the Unreasonable Institute is actually to come out with a stronger, more defined agreement.
Which will be really important when we grow even further, because when we have more employees and the whole team and everything like that, defining our roles and our expectations. And the reality is that businesses change and people change as the business grows. And so, I mean, we've really sort of figured out who's best at what, but we have so many complementary skills that it works out. And that's I think that's why we started working
grown up together. We were pretty young when we started this. I mean,
like 3 years ago.
So I was 25. Yeah. Maybe we were 24 when he was on his vacation. So it's pretty, we've really changed a lot. But there's good things too. Let's talk about those.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay, you start. You start.
How much do you love me?
So something that's
what do you love about me most?
This is getting so embarrassing for me.
So pretty.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, where to start, where to end?
No, we get to work on this amazing company, build it together, and
then sleep together. It's amazing.
Yeah,
there's nothing to end a disagreement in your business like makeup sex.
Right.
So.
I love it. We're rolling with it. I love it. No, but I mean, to be serious, like the human angle is really 50% of a business success. Like any rock band, you see so many bands have great sound, great success, and then break up. So it's like, how do you work together as human beings? It's super inspiring, I think.
Yeah, we're constantly working at it. We're constantly evolving.
I have a nice thing to say, since you can't think of any.
I just did. Evolving. What are you talking about?
It's cool.
The breakup happened live.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for making it happen.
I want to say something nice.
Anything for ratings. Yeah.
All right. So before, we were dating. And
you get makeup sex later.
At a cocktail party. Okay, well, my mom's clearly not going to watch this.
Or she'll watch it.
Okay, I'm blushing. So, when Joe used to have a regular job, we would be at a cocktail party. Oh, what does Joe do? He has spreadsheet, like money, he makes things, money.
End of conversation.
And I had no idea. Now, I am literally in the room. He'll be, negotiating a deal, and I'm like,
right.
Or, he gets to see, wow, that thing you wrote was so great, or oh, I love that marketing campaign you put together. And I think it's really, really great, because we're not just working for our cause, we're really working for each other and building our life.
Do you draw a line in terms of non-work time together?
We're trying.
Yeah, because that would seem important, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a really fun business, though. So
that's true.
You go out for a beer, and we end up with a cocktail napkin full of ideas, because it's fun to talk about. We have signs, if he's wearing earbuds in the office, I won't.
Oh, that's
usually
cool.
Yeah. So
that's also the sign of models in Manhattan when they walk around. They're like, we don't want to talk to you.
Well, look at this beard. He could model.
Yeah, probably does.
My goal is to be a movie extra. If anybody watching this wants to cast me, I'm in.
You could be in Portlandia.
Someone told me I had a movie beard the other day, so
yeah.
I really took that to heart.
You have a very Boulder beard too. All the hot guys in Boulder have good beards.
Are we going to see you in one soon?
I have a pretty ugly beard in the winter. I love it. It gets all curly and red and blondish, which is weird.
Joe and Banks ran into you in San Francisco, and he was like, "Oh man, that guy has such a great beard. Oh my gosh, I know that guy. That's Joe Dunn. He's coming." It was awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. So people, if you're interested in supporting this great company and cause, you can check out all the products. I know I'm going to buy one. Or 5. Elvin's doing pretty well. And thank you so much for your time. I know it was super jokey, but that's part of you know, I was a mentor one year, not a very good one, but at Unreasonable, and that's what I found so inspiring, this combination of like really hard work. People work so hard, really a lot of fun, a lot of human connection, a lot of training, a lot, you know, it's pretty amazing stuff that you're all doing.
Yeah.
So
pumped to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Come play volleyball with us.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Thanks for everything you're helping us do.
Yeah.
The team.
It's all Natasha, the whole institute.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much to Unreasonable Institute and to Yellowleaf Hammocks. You can find our other conversations with Daniel Epstein of Unreasonable, as well as lots of other entrepreneurs, and some other videos about relationships and such on youtube.com/Waylon H. Lewis. Super catchy URL. Thank you, as always, to Google Plus for partnering, and SoundCloud. You can find us on SoundCloud. So we could end with a little bow of mutual respect and make up sex.
In the hammock.